This ESPN podcast is brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com.
Passion, opinion, must-hear radio. This is the Paul Finebaum Show. And now, Paul Finebaum.
We welcome you back. One more hour to go as we continue. It's been a really interesting one today. A lot of talk about Nick Saban, the whole... Is it a feud now between Nick Saban and Steve Spurrier? It certainly feels like it when you consider what Saban said yesterday in response to Steve Spurrier, which Steve Spurrier has been saying for some time. You see you hear the numbers are 855-242-7285. Nick Saban had a lot to say to us yesterday, and we're going to listen to that in a minute. Also, Saban talking about various discipline issues. So that is where we are as we continue on this Friday afternoon. First, Nick Saban.
Well, the first comments I heard, I really felt like we were failing at Alabama. That was my first thought. That sounds to me like we recruited pretty good, but we're really failing. There must be a new standard of success that we all should be aspiring to. But Steve's a great coach and a good friend, and I really have a tremendous amount of respect for what he's been able to accomplish over a long period of time and some very good programs that he's worked hard to build. And I have a tremendous amount of respect for him as a coach, and it's always difficult to play against, and his teams are always well coached and tough, and we have a tremendous amount of respect for him, and I don't really take much of any comment that he made, and I just figured out a long time ago that I couldn't coach bad players to play good, so I thought I needed to be a good recruiter to be a good coach. So maybe that's why we try to do such a good job of recruiting.
I've got one thing to say about that. Nick Saban he has great respect for everyone he plays, so don't read too much into that. That was said with very little passion. We will take phone calls here at 855-242-7285, 855-242-7285. But Saban also had some very interesting things to say on the discipline front.
We've never had a player that had a problem that when we got rid of him, he ever amounted to much or did anything anyplace else at another school or really even had much of an opportunity to graduate. And discipline is something that you learn off the field, and you take it to the field, just like you develop strength in the weight room, and then you take it to the field. Well, that's what we're trying to do with the discipline of our players in terms of how they act off the field and how they play on the field.
Nick Saban from our conversation yesterday, and it certainly was interesting when you go back and think about it. Let's grab some more phone calls here. And Big M.
Hello, Paul.
How are you? Good afternoon.
I'm doing all right, but why does everybody want to take somebody's words and twist them around? The Reverend in the shadow wants to take Nick Saban's words and twist them around. Nick made the comment that, he thought he wanted to coach the NFL. When he got out there, he found out he didn't like it, so he came back to college. Paul, you're a talk show host. If you wanted to be a lawyer and you went and tried it and didn't like it, what would you go back to doing?
Be a talk show host.
There you go. But, they want to sit here. No, he's not a god. He's human. People make mistakes, But the Reverend made a mistake by calling up trying to tell Saban how to coach a football game. If the Rev's so smart, why ain't he coaching? Why ain't he making $7 million a year? Why doesn't he have 3 national championships? So they can take pot shots at him all they want to. The man's record speaks for itself. When you're at the top, everybody pokes at you. LeBron James is at the top. Everybody talked about him. That was Spurrier was winning at Florida all the time. Everybody talked about him. When you're at the top, you're going to get talked about, whether you like it or not. Do you not think so, Paul?
That goes without saying. Larry is up next. Hey, Larry, good afternoon.
Oh, smoke, Paul, the Reverend. I hope he's listening. Reverend, let me tell you something. What you need to do is go ahead and give your soul to the Lord, because your Auburn ass belongs to Saban and the Crimson Tide for the frickin' beat down in T-Town. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide, Larry. Larry is up next in Missouri. Larry, how are you, bud?
Hey, Mr. Tom, how you get along today?
Great.
Hey, great. Hey, your Reverend, he actually had some pretty good points, but I was getting all fired up to get on Shorty, but you scoreboarded me. I mean, bottom line, the dude's got a lot of jewelry, and I love OBC, and I think comparable situation, he'd do every bit as good, if not better, but it ain't a comparable situation. So I was going to say, too, as far as old Kevin, he's right. He is a modern-day John Wayne Gacy. I mean, this dude's mixing something in that sweet tea that's like him soft in the head. But I'll say, too, on that $100 million thing for old Shorty, it just basically goes to show how stupid Texas is. You could have offered Art Briles half that, and he's the man for the job. I mean, they're totally ridiculous. I mean, they need a young guy with passion for the state, for the job. Nick Saban, he'd be a mercenary. He wouldn't even do a good job there. I don't know.
We're never going to find out.
Well, I don't think so. And I'm not sure if you heard that the last time Bama had a new quarterback, they won the national championship.
I hadn't heard that yet.
I didn't know if you knew that. So, too, I was wondering, only thing I'm really concerned about the SEC days is old Shorty, he looked like old Rodney Dangerfield on a 5-day bender. I mean, I don't know how he can get so tired just walking around and talking to people. I mean,
it's the only thing he's done. I mean, it's not like he was working the day before. Come on.
Right. I mean, the only time I'm that tired is when them little old twin sisters from Kansas City come to town. Because I don't know if you know Mr. Finebaum, I ain't just a millionaire. Hell, I'm both a millionaire. Thanks, Paul. Boom, sir.
Boom, sir. Larry always delivering a major call. Darby is up next. Darby, how are you?
Hey, how are you, Paul?
Okay, thank you.
I enjoy your show. I don't think you can buy theater. Just wonderful. I specifically wanted to ask you about Saban's press conference yesterday when he was addressing the discipline problem, and I was curious, do you think he was aiming that conversation, that diatribe at somebody in particular, a school in particular?
I'm not sure. I thought at one point he was aiming it at some players, and then maybe, it was fairly broad. I never quite let my mind zero in specifically. How did you hear it?
Well, as a Georgia fan, and I think other Georgia fans that I have talked to, we at some point thought he might be directing that at Mark Richt, and I just kind of wanted to say on Mark Richt's behalf that, Mark Richt.
Well, let me jump in. And I'm not trying to start a feud here with another SEC East coach, but I have never gotten the impression that Saban and Richt were on the same page. I mean, they are very different type of coaches.
Yes, they are. And I know Mark personally, and the powers that be at Alabama have given Saban Ferrari, told him to put the pedal to the metal. They're all in at Alabama. At Georgia, they gave Mark an Escalade and put a governor on it. He is not playing by some of the same rules, university rules, that Saban has a luxury of. And
for those who don't follow it as closely, give us a roadmap, since we're talking about cars, Escalade versus Ferrari. Give us a roadmap to where you're going here.
Well, you cannot steal a wallet from your offensive lineman at Georgia and continue to be a student there. You cannot ride around campus with a gun with the serial numbers etched out, Isaiah Crowell, and stay at Georgia. You cannot disrupt a class, the entire Maymester, throw a cell phone at a tenured professor at the University of Georgia, Trey Matthews, and stay there. I took it that Saban thought, work with these kids, don't dismiss them, and see what happens. But these are not Mark Rick's rules. These are university and student policy rules. And maybe I'm just a little bit pink-skinned, but I think some of my friends and I thought that perhaps he was trying to lecture Mark, and maybe I took it the wrong way.
Well, if I was convinced of that, I would agree with you, Darby. I don't know. I may go back this weekend and look at the comments again. I'll say it again. There is a little bit of friction between those two. I don't think anything has happened recently, but I feel pretty comfortable in saying that these two are not going on an Alaskan cruise together in the future.
This is true, and I think you and I may know some of the reasons why. It goes back to lots of things. But I will say, and I've heard your callers come in, and even a couple of weeks ago you had a writer on who wondered why Georgia fans were not quite as passionate, I think were his words. Well, of course we want to win a national championship. Of course we do. But we're not going to sell our souls to the devil to do it. And it is very difficult to criticize a coach who is the fourth active winningest coach in the United States of America. And we do lose some games that perhaps we shouldn't. I thought last year was one of Mark's better coaching jobs, considering the hell he was going on with Grantham and the amount of injuries that he had. And, you know, I think Mark will go out on his own terms. And I just wish the best for him, because there really isn't a finer person. But it doesn't equate to winning football games, but I'm hoping now the defense is on the same page and we can put it all together and avoid some injuries and see what happens this year.
Darby, thank you. Wow, outstanding call, Darby over in Georgia. You can chew on that one and think about what you said. Was that was quite a shot at Alabama? Now we've had Saban feuding with Spurrier. Now we have him feuding with Mark Richt. Was he really going after Mark Richt yesterday? We'll come back and get some more reaction to that. 855-242-7285. Much more to come as we roll on a Friday afternoon.
.com.
From you, 855-242-7285. K-Dub, good to see him yesterday, featured in USA Today. K-Dub, what is going on?
Man, I am truly blessed, man. I cannot complain at all. Good to see you, too. It was truly the big time, and I can see, you know, why you could be a little weary. I heard them chant your name. They demanded to see you. They were like, Paul. It was never about 2 or 3, but hey, it was good enough.
Yeah, you know, I mean, 2 or 3. But, it
was everybody saying it, but it was like 2 or 3 Pauls. But I mean, you gave the people what they wanted. You ain't make them wait too long.
Happy to help.
One thing's for sure, though, Georgia did not sell their soul to win any national championship. I mean, to the devil, was he saying that, was that a shot at Alabama saying that we might have sold our soul to the devil? Or
that's what I heard from Darby.
or even the one we might even have.
Have we checked to see if Mark Richt's sister is named Darby?
Oh, I got a great Mark Richt story for you. Just give me 1 second. You know I was there, so I got a great Mark Richt story for you. Let me say this though. Do you think the comments about the discipline thing it wasn't so much about Mark Richt? I think he was trying to get ahead of the Jared Reed story before somebody asked him. Because if you notice, no one never brought it up. Not that I heard of. At media days about you know.
But do you think it was more likely though that she was talking that Saban was taking a shot at Auburn and not Georgia, since so many Georgia players have gone to Auburn?
I see you draw your parallels, brother. You own it,
Okay, I just want to make sure.
You ready for this Mark Richt story right quick?
Yeah.
Okay, it might have kind of been misleading. I had a black shirt on, but it had Sons of Saban on it. It was black with crimson on it. I was, might have looked like a Dogs fan, but anyway, he was coming through the lobby at, it was maybe like 6 or 7 Georgia fans there or whatever.
Yeah, by the way, I wanted to run over there and say, Mark, these fans are here to see Saban. They're not here to see you, man.
Well, Alabama fans are smart because they went down there to that souvenir shop and they went and got some Georgia stuff and have them signed. They're going to sell that stuff on eBay. I'm telling you, I think
it wasn't hard to get. I mean, and by the way, everyone that comes down there, the commissioner was signing autographs, Rick was signing. They all think they have to kind of go into that crowd. I did the same thing just for entertainment purposes. Nobody wanted my autograph.
I ain't going to sit there and let you lie like that. I seen the people going crazy over you. Don't try to downplay your role now. You was a star too, Bees, and you were definitely in your star mode. But Mark Richt, he was standing right next to me. He was signing the Georgia autograph or whatnot, and I kind of stick my hand out to him and I shake it. And he, looks at me and he kind of steps back a little bit, and he, I could tell he's reading my shirt. He said, Sons of Saban. So I said, nice to meet you, Coach. And he said, okay, nice to meet you too. And I said, mutual respect, Coach. I'm an Alabama fan, but I got mutual respect. He said, okay, no problem, so I can understand that. He kind of smirked a little bit. So right then I was faced with this dilemma. I could ask Mark Richt one or two things. I could have either asked him, hey, do you know Darryl from Columbus? But I kind of already knew that answer.
Yeah, I think everyone already knows that.
I kind of already knew that. Or B, I could reach in my bag and pull out a little Debbie cake and ask him, do he want a Saban cake? And so I went with B here. I pulled out a Debbie cake. I said, Coach, care for a Saban cake? He looked at me like, no, this, he got that face like, no, this MF. But then he said, no, he said, I'm pretty good. Ate a pretty big breakfast before I got here. I'm pretty good, thanks. And he left after that. My question to you is, can you rank the coaches? Because I got 2 in mind. If I would have offered them a Debbie cookie out there, a Saban cookie, which coach you think in the SEC would have took it besides Saban?
Bielema.
You think so?
I mean, you wouldn't think it. I don't think Bielema has ever turned down a cookie.
I think just off sheer entertainment, I know Les Miles would have took that cookie.
Yeah, I think Les was my second choice.
I even think Spurrier might would have took it just to be funny.
No, Spurrier's not.
You think he would have took that cookie?
Spurrier's not really touchy-feely guy when it comes to eating somebody else's cookie.
It was sealing the wrapper, brother. I mean, good. I could have broke over the fresh box.
Okay, so you say Les, I say Bielema.
I really think Les Miles would have took that cookie and it would have been gold. He would have walked out of the media days holding a Saban cookie in his hand. It would have made national news. It would have been great. I just wanted to share that story with you, and I want to really do say this, and I know you hear it all the time, man. I really do, and I appreciate you bringing me over, man. It was a truly blessing for me to even come on your show, with all this, chaos going on during media days. I truly do appreciate you.
Thanks, Dub.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, for those who missed it, there was a reporter from USA Today that shadowed our show yesterday and wrote about it today. And K-Dub got his picture on the website at USA Today and looking good with the little Debbies. It was really an interesting story. Johnny is in Mississippi. Hey, Johnny, good afternoon.
Hey, just wanted to see if you remember a comment by Bum Phillips many years ago. He was talking about Bear Bryant when I guess he was describing what a great coach is. Someone who can take Hisn and beat Yorn, and take Yorn and beat Hisn.
One of the great quotes in college football history.
Right. Do you think Saban could take maybe Spurriers and beat Hisn and vice versa?
That's a great question about Nick Saban. But he said what he did yesterday. I mean, I think I don't know if Saban can. I mean, Gary Pinkel to me has done a lot with very little talent. Malzahn has turned a few players as well. I think Saban is a better evaluator than he is someone who can make an average player great. Saban identifies the player, and then I think he can see things that I think others maybe cannot. He can teach. He's a very fundamental coach. I spent, right after he arrived at Alabama, he tried to teach me how to become a defensive back. One of the few failures in Nick Saban's career at Alabama. Anyway, we are running into the end of this segment. Love to hear from you at 855-242-PAUL. Trying to say it like the fans. 855-242-7285. We'll take a break and come right back to the program.
Xfinity.
Day.
You're welcome to say whatever you would like. That's what this program's all about.
On the Paul Finebaum Show.
Let's go to the Reverend.
So I want to role play a little bit, like we're back at SEC Media Days, and I'm going to ask the question, and I'll answer it as Saban if he would answer it honestly. What about Steve Spurrier and the comments he made? Well, Spurrier was right. I am probably the best recruiter in the SEC, probably in all of college football. But honestly, I'm not the best coach. Spurrier has took programs like Florida and South Carolina from nothing and built them into winning programs. Well, the truth is, I got my ass waxed at Miami when I was in the NFL. Because I'm not Barry Switzer. I'm not Pete Carroll. I can't coach in the NFL and in college. I can coach college football, but then again, I'm still not the best coach. Spurrier is. I might be the best recruiter. Paul, if people would realize that Saban is not a god. He is real. He is flesh. And if he would have made the proper steps of not putting a freshman field goal kicker in the Iron Bowl game last year at the very last play, that kid's an All-American, come out of Calhoun High School in Calhoun, Georgia, an amazing field goal kicker. But he let some kid that was, just missing field goals left and right, and then waits to put all the pressure on this freshman to come in and kick the winning field goal. Come on, Paul. And we say he's the best coaching today, making that kind of decision. It's ridiculous. God bless you and have a good weekend.
Call of the day.
You're welcome to say whatever you would like. That's what this program's all about.
On the Paul Finebaum Show.
Ah, yes. How interesting. Welcome back to the show. Your phone calls are coming in here pretty seriously. The Spurrier-Saban debate has taken a new life. Marshall is up next in Tennessee. Hey, Marshall.
Hey, Paul. Appreciate you taking my call.
You bet.
Everybody always wants to jump on Saban. Out of all the 14 coaches in the SEC, he is the only coach with a winning record against top 10 teams. Spurrier's lost twice as many as he's won. Saban's won twice as many as he's lost. And people comparing Auburn's coach with him, that's just a joke. It's more like comparing Dubose with him than Saban. Auburn has played football, 130-something years, and out of that, only one time have they won back-to-back double-digit wins, and that was 88 and 89. And they're certainly not going to do it this year. They might win eight games this year, 9 if they're lucky.
Well, we don't know that. We're obviously in the middle of July. Fritz is up next. Hey, Fritz, good afternoon.
Hey, Paul, friendly sports conversation. How's it going today?
I'm doing great. Thank you.
Good. Hey, debate between Saban and Spurrier. I'm taking Spurrier all day. And I guess just like the caller of the day said, Saban's ability to build programs that have nothing. Spurrier. You give Spurrier the same players and the talent that Saban has, and Spurrier will run with that. It's an offensive gear game now, right? So that's where Spurrier has an edge also. And the fact that Saban hired Lance Kiffin just shows you he's reaching right now. It's an offensive gear game. Spurrier he's a nerd. He's a nerd when that, just like Gus Malzahn is a nerd when it comes to offensive prowess, offensive genius. That's where the game's going. Yeah, I got it. The old adage, defense wins championships. But we're in a day and age where it's like, okay, scores 40-40. Let's keep rolling. Let's keep scoring. Razzle dazzle. That's where we're at today. That's my opinion. Kudos to Penn State. James Franklin, Paul, will you have him on the show again?
I hope so. Our last call didn't go very well. It was my fault.
I know.
And the reason why it went that way, and I apologize for explaining over and over again, is that I really like James, and I was hoping he would. I was rooting for him to give somewhat of a conciliatory answer when he didn't. I don't know if I snapped or not, but I like the guy even though we had a bad call, and I hope our relationship will lead us back to another call.
Hey, let me ask you real quick about James Frank. I know this is Spurrier, Saban debate, whatever, but you talked about Mason, being the coach at Vandy, and one of the guys you had on, he had questioned you, and you cautiously said that he may fill Franklin's shoes. How do you feel about that? I want to get your.
I think Mason is in a very difficult position. He doesn't have a lot right now, and I think James Franklin was a unique coach, and I think he's going to be great at Penn State. I said it the day he was hired, and I'll continue to say it until proven wrong.
Cool. All right, thanks for taking my call. Go Big
Ten. You bet. Yeah. Now, listen, I'm a Franklin fan. He's entitled to a mistake or two. I think he made one, but he's not going to be too concerned about it. Todd is next in Tallahassee. Hey, Todd.
Hey, Paul, what's up?
Doing great, my friend.
Hey, first of all, I don't think Saban's comments were a shot at anybody in regards to the discipline. Especially at Auburn, he's the one who took a Georgia tight end who had been on Georgia's team in this past year's recruiting class. So it'd be kind of hypocritical to accuse Auburn of doing the same thing. I don't think he worries and takes shots at other teams. I think he sincerely believes in what he's saying about his team, and that comes from an Auburn fan. But real quick, do these kids like the tight end he took and Nick Marshall and Isaiah Crowell, do they deserve to never play football ever again for screwing up at Georgia?
No, I think when you make a mistake and you get run, look at the DGB situation. Nobody, he didn't waste any time.
Right. These Georgia fans get on your show, Paul, and they act like that these kids should never, ever be able to suit up and play football ever again anywhere because they made a mistake at their school. That is ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. I agree.
And then, real quick, one of the most interesting things I just heard on your show earlier was the Saban-Rick, maybe pseudo-feud, whatever you want to call it. And this does go back, because the story I was told, the fact of the matter is, Alabama, Auburn, Florida, they come into Georgia every year and they raid the state in recruiting. And the number one person raiding that state's not Nick Saban, it's Kirby Smart, and everybody knows that. Even Spurrier said it the other day. Georgia wanted Kirby Smart to come home so bad a few years ago, it was ridiculous. And guess what? Saban and Alabama and teams that are committed to competing for national championships, unlike Georgia, put a stop to it. And that's what's really got up underneath Mark Richt's skin more than anything, because they told him, why would you go over there and save his ass when you can stay here and be the next head coach at Alabama? Have a good day, Paul.
Thank you. A lot of emotion today, even though we're in mid-season form. Let's continue with Gary in Kentucky. Hey, Gary, what's up?
Hey, Paul. I had a little different take on Saban's comment about not having any players leave and kicked off and be started. Hell, he's never going to kick anybody off that can play. He processes those that can't play. He processes. You're never going to have anybody start anywhere else. If that's the ones you get rid of, hell, you'd have to have a number on your shirt to not play for Saban. If you can play now, you got to be able to play. I don't give a damn if you're a Sunday school teacher. If you can't play, your ass is out. See you, buddy.
A lot of emotion going on today. Al is calling next. What's up, Al?
Paul, this is my favorite day of the year. The day after the SEC media, when the whole world not the whole world, but you know what I mean. When everybody is wringing their hands at why the Alabama coach is so loved and respected at this event, you know, it even goes back to when Mike Shula was at Alabama. He was a rock star when he showed up.
Oh, without a doubt.
And I think it's because Coach Saban doesn't just stand up there and say, well, at the end of the season, I think it's going to be my team that's the winner. You know, he gives you things like, when talking about scheduling, he says, well, you know, in the NFL, the 32 teams play the 32 teams. We don't play a lower division. You know, he brought up the 9-game schedule again.
He sure did.
He mentioned, you know, if you expand the playoff to more than 15 games, what does that do to the player? So that's why people like him. That's why the media loves him and the fans love him. Paul, or one particular set of fan base loves him. Paul, I have to ask you this, though. You know, I've never, in all the years that I've been listening to your show and this day, I've never heard the disdain and the hatred for Coach Saban as I've heard today. And do you think that's because he's the head coach at Alabama, or because he's a successful coach? And I can't really put my finger on it. I don't know that. You know, I like to think that maybe if he were at another school and he was as successful, he might still be disliked. But would he be hated like he's hated as the head coach of Alabama?
No, but it's hard to say. I mean, I think let me try this one. If he was doing this at LSU, I think he'd be hated.
Like he has been today by other coaches, by other fan bases. I don't know.
Nick Saban is not likable to other fan bases. Steve Spurrier is not likable. Don't forget, Tennessee fans hated Spurrier. Georgia fans hated Spurrier. Some Alabama fans didn't care for him, but I doubt hate was the correct word. But there are certain coaches that do great on you. Saban overall, though, I don't think tweaks other fan bases. I mean, he's one of the most political coaches I've ever heard. Al, you know that. He always says the same thing. We have great respect for them. Their coaches have done an excellent job. Even when you don't believe a word of it, he always says that.
You know, Tennessee didn't like Coach Spurrier because he said you can't spell citrus.
Yeah, he made fun of them, but I've never heard Nick take a shot at any program.
I haven't either. Paul, as I said, it's fun as an Alabama fan and a Coach Saban fan. This day is always one of my highlights. Paul, as always, last night I dreamed I held you in my arms. The music was never ending. We danced as the evening skies fade into black. One step up and 2 steps back. Paul, have a good day.
Thank you. We'll take a short break.
No app.
It was a story that came out Wednesday morning that stunned and shocked many people. The announcement by Sarah Patterson that she was stepping down, and Sarah is on the line now. Sarah, good afternoon.
Hello, Paul. How are you doing?
I am doing great, and I'm thrilled to talk to you. And I don't even know what to say. I hope you are well. I know you are, because I've seen you on television and read your comments. Other than physically, you seem pretty upbeat for someone walking away from one of the great careers in college sports history.
Well, thank you, Paul, and I wanted to call and just thank you for your comments and your support over the years. You know, you've always been great to me, and I truly appreciate it. You know, I think sometimes when coaches have a long career, you know, I started when I was 22, so, you know, I've been at the university 36 years, and Coach Bryant hired me, and I was blessed to have a tremendous career, but I do need to have some knee replacements, and, you know, I think that it's important to make the right decision for not only for myself and my family, but for the university, and to take a year off of coaching and then return, I don't think is in the best interest recruiting-wise for the university. So I feel like this is a great decision for, both my family and myself to put my health first. But I just want to thank you for your support over the years, because you helped us draw that fan base that we have here at the university from years ago.
Well, thank you very much, and I want to ask anyone who had not read it. There is just a fabulous story today in the New York Times, and I read it on the plane, and then I saw it in the actual paper this morning, Sarah. And I have to tell you, the comparisons by Commissioner Slive and others to Pat Summitt are accurate. I thought Coach Battle's comments echoed exactly how I feel, that in the pantheon of Alabama history, you were on that Mount Rushmore with Coach Bryant and Nick Saban. I know you're a humble person, but those are the facts, and I'm not asking you to do anything other than to acknowledge it. But it's really when I heard the news, I was very, very saddened by it. But also I hope that your health does improve, and I'm sure it will.
Well, it will, and I think in the grand scheme of things, this is some knee surgeries. 18 years ago, my husband and I were coaching together, and he underwent cancer. Now, that is something that is much different. I think Bill Battle did an amazing job, and we did this seamlessly and made a transition, and hopefully the program, I feel like, was it's going to just continue to be at a championship level. But I have learned so much from the people like you, from the coaches that I've worked with, and the championship atmosphere that has been created by Mal Moore, by the coaches he's hired at the university, and now Bill is continuing to do the exact same things with his vision. And I'm excited that once I get through this, I'll be able to continue to work with the athletic department and President Bonner at the university. I think, having a next phase of your career is important, and I can't thank people like you enough, because at a time when women's sports were not important, they weren't on the map, you helped put us there, and by your support, even though sometimes it was because I was hounding you, your support helped us put 15,000 fans in Coleman Coliseum for a women's program, and I think that's one of the most important things that has ever happened for women's sports.
Well, Sarah, we're at the end of the show, and we'll end with you. But my final comment, and I mentioned this in the New York Times, but for all that, I will forever remember what you did for that community a couple of years ago in the wake of the April 27th tornadoes, because that truly was your heart speaking, and I know many people know what you did, and so did many others, but you helped lead it because of your profile. I look forward to seeing you. I'll be back there shortly, and I really appreciate you being able to share some thoughts with us this afternoon as we wrap up this week.
Well, thank you so much, and I'll look forward to being a continued fan of you and the SEC Network and all that you do.
Sarah, best wishes to you and David, and I got a big kick, like so many, of watching your daughter play softball this year, too, mostly watching you watch her.
Well, that's true. Thank you very much.
Best wishes. Sarah Patterson joining us as we wind it up on this Monday afternoon. Just really a phenomenal career, and I thought the New York Times today did justice to her career and what she meant to that university. We'll see you Monday. Don't forget Television Monday. You can actually see how crazy this show is behind the scenes. ESPNU at 3 o'clock Central and ESPN2 at 4. And hopefully we'll be back we'll be back Tuesday after that, unless they cancel us after one show. They've got our name on the board. I think we'll stick around for at least a week. Have a great weekend. It's been an incredible time at SEC Media Days. We'll see you Monday.